Hello you guys, it's Latios and Latios, and I decided I'm gonna read one more date, so I'm gonna go with Victor this time. I was trying to figure out which date I should honestly read, and let me start with this one here. So the Qixi festival date, if I said that wrong, the Chinese words, names, anything related to that is the death of me. I just don't know. Japanese is like, bam, instant. On the night of the Double Seven Festival, aka Chinese Valentine's Day, I'm taking Victor to a live role-playing murder mystery called Double Seventh Feast that I booked long in advance. A feast for the mind is about to begin. Okay, so this card, the date, you don't actually have to get his event card. You only just needed his R card to actually unlock it, which is why I even have it with me. Oh,
is this your surprise?
He's just like on my face. Oh, okay, sexy boy. So yeah, I actually finally went and actually read a lot of not event dates with Gavin. I don't know why I picked Gavin for some reason, but I read 4 dates. Was it 3 at least or 4? So now I gotta relax because I want to finish Victor's and I want to have the currency to do so. Yes, it is. Now keep an open mind. It's really very funny. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had to book it so far in advance. On the night of the Double Seventh, I took Victor to an escape room that I had reserved long ago. That sounds fun. Miss Angela, with a reservation for 2 for the Double Seventh Feast, correct? After confirming my information, the employee led Victor and me into the venue. Aside from us, there were 3 other men and 3 other women. Everyone had to arrive before the game could begin, and the 2 of us were surprisingly the last ones. First, welcome everyone. I'll get right to it. Here are the rules and the background story. Ours is a little different from a normal escape room, more like a celebrity reality show. Everyone is going to be playing a role and using logic to figure out the final mystery. That's why it's been such a hit with the public, and today in particular, we're running a double seventh themed script. Ever since hearing the story takes place in the fictional ancient past, and that all the players would have to dress up to play the game, Victor was looking none too pleased as ever. Fearing he would back out, I hastily tried to head off such thoughts, whispering in his ear, "You're not thinking of backing out, are you? Remember this afternoon, you promised me." "You did." She has a sweat drop. Victor gave me that always unamused look. In a brief pause, after a brief silence, he responded,
Have I ever reneged on any promise I've made to you?
I don't even know what that word means, reneged. With Victor's assurance, I felt much more relieved. Then I turned my focus back to the manager, telling the background story. Actually, the one reason I asked Victor to come here was so that he could have fun and relax, but I also had an ulterior motive, as always. Let's cancel that for a second. Okay, that should be okay. Oops. It's a alternative motive. Is that too loud again? I don't know why the volume keeps fluctuating. Sorry, Lucien. Alright. The goal of this game was to figure out clues to find who the Emperor's murderer really was. After dispensing with the rules and background, the exciting task of drawing roles had come. This is a lot of fun. I would love to join to something like this. I don't know with Victor, but the drawing roles had come. I can totally tell you who we're pairing up with. There were 4 female roles: physician, maid, concubine, and empress, and 4 male roles: king, prince, general, and trust me, you definitely won't draw the... Oh, I don't even know how to say that. Victor's like, shh, don't curse me. As I said the word, Victor looked daggers at me. I looked at you.
Not another word.
Not another word or else. Really? I have proof. I dreamed it the other day. Several weeks ago. Oh, that's a pretty card. Don't matter, I can always go online and get it. Ha ha ha. Several weeks ago, I saw Victor in a dream. Yume. But this time, he wasn't the suit-wearing CEO of EDFG. Instead, he was wearing a brown cape with a long flowing hair riding atop a chestnut steed. And he even had his hair done up in a bun like a nobleman. Oh, Victor and his nobleman-ness. Although I couldn't remember any more details from the dream. That image of Victor was burned into my brain. This was one of my ulterior motives for roping him to this double seventh feast murder mystery. I wanted to see him dressed like that again. I just know you'll draw the king. Don't worry. From the way he dressed to how he carried himself in the dream, I just knew he'd get something dignified. Victor shot me a look and moved his lips wordlessly. Was he calling me a baka again? Maybe my promises was effective after all, because Victor was first to draw. Under his direction, the other male participants took turns, drawing it as if following orders. One of the men suddenly let out a swear word. Ah, fuck, man. How could you? Apparently he had the honor of playing the whatever. I don't know how to say that word. The others immediately started laughing. My whole attention was on Victor, who was holding his roll card and his tongue. Gosh, you drew the king, didn't you? He pursed his lips and laid the roll card down before me. The emperor's younger brother, King of Liang. Li? I knew it. Silly. Yay. Next, everyone will take turns going to the briefing room. Well, we'll tell you more about your role. Then you can all get changed. First, I and Victor. Shouldn't it be me and then Victor? I don't know. Me and Victor went to listen to the manager. As an assistant, then we went off on our respective changing rooms. Although there was a thin wooden wall separating our changing rooms, it did little to block the sound. Did you hear? I got picked to be this person. Oh my god. Yes, the rustling sound. We gotta change. Hearing the rustling sounds of clothes being changed from that side, I couldn't help feeling a bit flustered. Victor?
What?
The sound of changing next door seemed to stop. This is my first time playing a game like this. Do you think it'll be hard?
Aren't you the one who was dying to come here?
Victor's voice suddenly sounded low and a bit muffled, as if he was bending over to change his shoes. But that's because it's a 7 special script designed for couples.
What?
Oh. Nothing. Victor didn't seem to have heard my muttering clearly from his side of the wall. I said I think the role I drew would be difficult to pull off. The physician. The first person to come in contact with a dead body. That'll seem pretty suspicious, won't it? And the manager told me, due to certain reasons, the physician lied about the cause of the emperor's death. Gee, was he murdered?
Don't overthink it. It's a murder mystery game, after all. Every role is going to seem suspicious.
Thank you. Muffled though it was, Victor's voice was still steady, and even though the wall of it had a calming effect. Well, do you think maybe you could take me under your wing out there? No. As I chit-chatted with Victor, I quickly finished changing and arranged my hair in a more old-fashioned style. I think you could buy his clothes, but you need the event card. As I opened the changing room door, I was met with a sight of Victor donning his wig with the help of the staff. Seeing this man before me, I actually became uncertain as to whether this was a dream or reality. Victor looked almost exactly like I had dreamed him in his traditional clothes. The same cloak, the same long hair. But there seemed to be something a little different this time. Oh, right, he wasn't on a horse now, and as his waist was a small wine vessel. Even without his noble steed, he still gave off an aurora of majesty. It might just like that first time I saw him at EDFG. He looked just like a true royalty. Delicious royalty at that.
Never seen a king before?
I never thought you would be dressing in these kind of clothes. No! We don't have kings and queens stuff here, man. I guess we have presidents. Joe Biden. I guess he found my jaw dropped and stared amused as Victor's smile arched. Because Victor's mouth smiled. After all the other participants had their briefing, the game was officially ready to begin. Begin! Let's do it. That's right. All the players entered a spacious room designed to look like ancient times and began looking for clues. I was no exception, although...
Why do you keep following me?
I don't know. At first, I was searching on my own, but the creepy background music quickly sent me scrambling for company. I'm not getting in your way. We're each doing our own separate searching. I was super close to Victor, but as long as he was in the area, the music wasn't so eerie. Victor gave me the look, but didn't say any more. I then turned around to look through the Imperial Studies bookshelves for clues. Look, in this document, I found evidence that the prince forged his ascension decree, of course. Yep. Although I'd said it was every man and woman for themselves, I still reflexively went straight to Victor at the first big clue I found. But just as I turned my head, I happened to see Victor hiding something in a prop vase. Victor, what are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything. No. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Suddenly, Victor pulled me by the hand. Okay. The establishment had their air conditioning cranked really low, probably where that people would find the costumes hot. Because of that, I found the touch of Victor's hand particularly warm.
There's nothing of value here. Let's go to another room.
All right, Vic. Huh? What? Already? Victor looked back at me, his mouth suddenly forming into a subtle smile. Just at the sight of it made my heart suddenly speed up considerably. This was a side of Victor I'd never seen before. Could this be that legendary... No. Must just be oh, okay. Oh, it must be just his costumes getting to his brain. I shook my head, trying to dislodge that smile from my brain, but... that's not working. The person standing next to me right now wasn't only Victor, but also the King of Lee, Sun. Thinking about how he just hid something in that vase, and how he oddly and suddenly pulled me out of that room, some gears started turning in my head. What did he really hide in there? Something was fishy with this King of Lee. It was soon time for us to do the first round of speculating and voting. Notwithstanding my slight suspicion of the King of Lee and his penchant for hiding things, I still cast my single vote for the prince. This round, everyone had discovered questionable things about each other, and the votes were fairly evenly distributed. Ooh, I wonder what the results are. That's going to be interesting to find out. It seems it really did play out like Victor had said. Everyone had a motive. Everyone was a suspect. With that thought, I snuck a glance at Victor. Sneak. Only to find him as serene as ever, even sitting with his legs crossed casually.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at you. What else? Nothing. Remember, everyone, don't just get caught up looking for clues. The props you carry are also very important. The props, huh? At the manager's words, I voluntarily felt for my hairpin. Does it have some writing on it, maybe? Oh, I was going to say, why did the screen change? Flashback, right? Every participant has their own script, but also a personal item. Your key item is this hairpin. It is a keepsake given to you by a certain someone. Ooh. Is there something special about the hairpin? Like, does it have blood stains on it? Or is there a little slip of paper inside? My first thought was that the hairpin could be a murder weapon. However, the manager gave me a meaningful look. How can a hairpin be a murder weapon? Like, would that even hurt when you stab someone? Like, what, the eyes? It's a hairpin. I don't know. An item could also indicate a connection between the two people not stated in the script. Look closely. Interesting. And sure enough, I found some small writing on the hairpin. Okay, yeah. Give me your hand. Just what exactly was this hairpin trying to tell me? He took us by the hand earlier, right? Maybe is that what they're referring to? The second round of searching had begun. This time I decided to investigate alone. At first, Victor hung back waiting for me, but when he saw I didn't intend to follow him, he raised an eyebrow at me. After hearing my plucky ambition to strike out on my own, Victor just chuckled and responded with, "Please, just suit yourself, girl." I watched Victor walk off. And then I went to a different room. Finally, hard work found its reward, and I found a critical clue. I wonder what we found. It turned out in his youth, the king of Li was sent away by the emperor to an... okay, there's a lot of writing here. Emperor to the enemy ruler as collateral in peace negotiations, and so to this day he still held a grudge against the emperor. With this piece of paper found tucked into the emperor's bed, along with Victor's clue stashing from before, my suspicion of King of Li grew stronger. Add to that the manager's reminder about our items after the first round, and my mind went instantly to Victor's wine vessel. If the King of Li had a motive, then maybe the vessel was the murder weapon. Maybe he poisoned it. Easy, right? And that thought, I turned right back around to go find Victor. When I found Victor, I discovered he was the only person in the whole room. At first glance, I saw his wine vessel tied at his waist. If I asked him to hand over the bottle right away, he definitely wouldn't cooperate nicely, because it's Victor. He would not. With that in mind, so how are we going to con him to give it to us? I fairly tiptoed to Victor. Then my hand just barely bumped Victor's belt. Oh, I'm sorry. Sumimasen. Forgetting I was in a dress, I took too large of a step and trampled the hem of my dress, sending me tumbling forward. Help, tumble! It all happened in an instant of a flash. Before I knew what was going on, Victor had turned around and deftly caught me in his arms. Why was I always tripping over myself when I was with him? I was sure an insult was forthcoming. I braced myself, but when I looked up at Victor, his expression was different from usual. Victor's mouth sloped slightly upward, and in his eyes was a faint trace of a smile. His dark eyes were hidden behind the shadows of his bang. Even so, I could detect a glimpse of something laid back and playful in his eyes.
Leave it to you to be so bold.
Well, I'm sorry, what? Victor's playful expression along with a line like that made my heart skip a beat. As if not satisfied with how startled I already was, the next moment Victor had me wrapped in his arms. There was a lingering scent of sandalwood from his costume, along with Victor's own scent, plus a dash of the cologne I'd bought for him. Victor, what's come over you? I couldn't hear his response because the sound of his steady heartbeat was all I could hear. Ba-bum, ba-bum, doki doki. Just then, the pull around my waist loosened a bit. Then I looked up and saw my hairpin. The hairpin stuck in my hair was now suddenly in Victor's hand. His silhouette blocked most of my vision, and a shadow arose in his profound eyes. A casually nasally grunt emitted from his throat. But he seemed to have no intention of removing his hand from my waist. No.
Your hairpin.
Okay. His emphasis fell on the word your. The next second, his half grin gave way to the full-fledged smile. My, what? Are we missing something? What do you mean? What clue? Hey, I must have gotten lost in the smiling eyes because I forgot to struggle or even respond. LOL. Time ticked on. The other participants were obviously just in the next... in the next room's over, ready to come searching for clues in this room at any moment. But Victor wasn't even considering giving the hairpin back to me, and he even tightened his hold around my waist. I'll hold the hairpin, but I'll tighten my grasp on your waist. He just... excuse me. He makes me burp. No, I'm just kidding. He just kept looking down at me, staying stubbornly silent, with an emotion in his eyes I could not place. My heart was racing, and my speech came out in fits and starts. Oh, yeah. What are you doing? The others could come in any second. Do you not care? I don't know what he found so funny, but he suddenly broke into a smile. I, however, didn't relax in the slightest bit.
Have it your way.
Oh, thank you. With that, Victor returned to silence. This was the first time I felt his silence cause me to feel so uneasy, to make my heart jump, to feel so overwhelmed. The only thing I could hear was his close-up breathing, and I could feel currents of electricity whenever his fingers touched. In my prophetic dream, Victor was a stately monarch, but this wickedly charming king of Lee was something else. This wasn't at all like my dream. That's right. I was so nervous that I could feel my fingers even tensing up. Then Victor slowly opened his mouth, and the look in his eyes grew warmer and kinder. His voice was deep, but not at all cold. Instead, there was a rare warmth to it.
Give me your hand. Who could ask for more?
Give it to me, honey. Huh? Stop it! Don't help me. My eyes shot upwards, meeting Victor's narrowed eyes instantly. Eyes as deep as a bottomless vortex. He was the one who gifted me the hairpin? He was the one who pledged to marry me without my father's consent? Oh my God, Victor. An explosion went off in my brain. In that instant, I didn't know if I was dealing with Victor or with my betrothed King of Lee. Your hairpin? Oh. Seeing my utter shock, Victor let out a laugh, then released me from his grip, sweetheart.
Do you understand now?
We're married. Victor looked again at the words on the hairpin, then finally returned it to me. Just now before I could finish talking, that familiar word sounded in my ear. Dummy. Baka. This time the smile on his face was all Victor. What did I miss? Hold on. Guys, what the hell am I missing? Like, are we married? Your hairpin? Like, I don't know. Oh, he was the one who pledged me to... Okay. Hearing the familiar baka, my anxiety and shock instantly melted away. Same here, leaving a strange feeling of reassurance. After leaving the room, I thought back over the information Victor had just revealed to me. If the physician and the King of Lee are involved like that... Ooh, up until now, none of my character's background information or any clues in the game gave any evidence that the physician had a motive to commit the murder. Ooh, so why did she lie about the Emperor's cause of death? Could it be because I suddenly had a bold hunch? While there weren't any other participants around, I quietly asked Victor as we walked. Ooh, yes, looks like it. I have a feeling. You wouldn't be the killer, would you? Victor gave me a look and squeezed my hand, but gave no reply. A giant clock rung out. The second round of voting was starting soon. This time, even though everyone had something suspicious about them, all the votes were concentrated on the concubine and me. Uh-oh. It's a fact that the concubine bribed the general to let an assassin take out the emperor, but I just found some evidence in the imperial study. It turns out the general is the concubine's Ototo little brother, and he only pretended to help her with the assassination plot. He didn't really cooperate with her. It turns out, okay, so the general, okay. So the concubine bribed the general to let an assassin. Oh, the general's concubine little brother. He didn't really cooperate with her. I'm voting for the physician. The emperor was clearly poisoned to death, but she said he died from a stab wound. Although I found this in the vase of the imperial study, her backstory is motive enough to kill her, for her to kill the emperor. Oh, vase? What? I looked reflexively at Victor, only to see him as composed as ever. So what I saw back there was him hiding evidence against me. My mind was reeling, and for the moment I wasn't able to conjure up any evidence to refute the concubine. I quickly became the prime suspect. As I was scrambling for an argument, Victor, sitting legs crossed and cool as a cucumber, suddenly opened his mouth. Oh my God.
First of all, everyone is in agreement that the poison in question was a fast-acting one.
Yeah, obviously. Why would you want to use slow? You want to get the job done fast, right? I don't know. Here in the till now silent king of Lee finally speak. Everyone was caught a little off guard, found themselves nodding
On the evening
along.
of the double seventh feast, all of us were present, and all of us had a motive to poison him. But if that's when it happened, then the deceased wouldn't have died much later that night in his own chambers.
Fast.
Therefore, it's almost certain that something happened later in the evening that led to the poisoning. And in the latter half of that night...
Halfway through his speech, Victor suddenly shot me a glance.
She was with me. My servants can attest to that.
According to Victor, this was one of the key clues in the King of Lee script. All the participants turned for confirmation to the manager listening to the side. It's true. Is that so? With a few words, Victor had cleared my name and earned the trust of the others. So because she was with him, I guess we're cleared.
Now, let's sort through the clues we've got so far. First,
he started working through all the clues everyone had gathered and provided reasoned analysis. Victor's unwavering voice, distinguished tone made it easy for everyone to let themselves be led along. But why did I get the feeling that there was something off about his analysis? In the end, under Victor's guidance, the players weren't about to find the true culprit in the allotted time. What happened? Who did it? Later that night, Victor and I were walking back home. Loveland City was so deserted, it seemed like we were the only two left in it. Our shadows stretched long under the streetlights, overlapping tenderly with each other. It was a beautiful night, but my head was still preoccupied with that unsolved mystery. I felt like I was a student again, racking my brains over a test question. Yeah, that was fun. I scrunched my brow as I walked, combing through all the clues. Suddenly, I got a flash of inspiration. Aha! I got it. The killer was the King of Lee, so him. The poison ring. Okay, yeah. Your wine vessel was the murder weapon, wasn't it? That's where you kept the poison, right?
go on.
Yeah. And then we took the hairpin, right? I laid out all my reasoning, but there was still one point I couldn't figure out. But why? The King of Lee controlled the military. If you wanted to kill the emperor, you could have at any time. Was there a reason?
Because the physician's whole family was killed off by the emperor with poison wine.
Because the... Okay. That's it? Just that simple? Victor, seeing that I wasn't buying it, calmly replied.
It's only a game. And sometimes life is just like that.
What? Because the physician was killed off. So the King of Lee really did murder the emperor for the one he loved. He hid the truth from the physician, but he also didn't want to abandon everything, so he took revenge on the emperor for her. But was it really worth it to do that? Maybe. I muttered onto myself for a long time, but Victor never said another word. I tried to sneak a glance at Victor, but found myself looking into his eyes. They were full of some underlying emotion, like the King of Lee's eyes. That moment, when he held me in his arms, came surging back to me, and I could feel my cheeks grow hot. This time, Victor didn't smile, but he did take me in his arms. Aww. His emotions were gentle, and even his breath felt so delicate on the top of my head, alongside the rise and fall of his chest. It was like the softest feathers falling gently onto a placid lake, stirring up endless ripples in my heart. The instant I was taken to his embrace, I felt under an illusion. The man who held me seemed to be wearing that costume again, seemed to be that romantic King of Lee. But I knew this is only an illusion. Victor was Victor after all, and always would be. Victor let out a low laugh, as if he guessed what I was thinking. I'm a mind reader.
It's me.
Aww. Even wearing heels, as Victor held me in his arms, my eyes just reached his collarbone. As he spoke, when I looked up, his Adam's apple was right there. Watching his Adam's apple slide up and down as he swallowed. I don't know where the impulses came from, nor the nerve. My head felt hot. I stood up on my tiptoes and, trembling lightly, planted a kiss on that What? I've never seen Victor caught off guard. Well, yeah, she doesn't really do that very often, huh? That was a screech. That moment, the towering figure holding me seemed to shiver a bit. Ooh. Immediately after, he hugged me with such force, it was like I was going to sink into him. And then came his voice, low and a little
No
gravelly.
backing out now.
Ooh. His voice wafted down from above. I would like to melt onto you. Rubbing down my hair, my brain, my lips and tongue, all the way to the bottom of my heart. Almost imperceptibly, I seemed to hear him say Baka. Then who could ask for more? I returned his embrace, hugging against his warm back, and nodded empathetically. I breathed in, taking his familiar scent, and then I suddenly had an urge to cry. What? The clock must have struck midnight long ago, but I thought it wasn't still too late to say, Victor, happy double seventh. Oh, Valentine's thing, right? Oh, this was actually a fun date. Did the other dates end up like this too? I don't know. Victor didn't seem thrilled about having to put on traditional clothes for the role-playing game. Good thing he said he'd never back out of any of his promises to me. He better not. I selfishly chose his activity just to see what he looked like in traditional clothing. And it didn't disappoint. He drew a role of King of Lee, and I was the physician. I realized that King of Lee had hidden a key item in the course of the game, and my suspicions led me to go after his wine decanter, but he ended up taking my hairpin instead. I see, that makes sense. The despicable King of Lee wasn't like what I saw in my dream, and he actually ended up wedding to the physician. No matter what, something just doesn't seem to add up, and actually, am I missing something? Did he kill the king to marry her? I don't know, bro, but this was an interesting date. Now, the deal is I don't have his card at all, meaning there's no phone calls to read for that. 45, huh? Nice. So, yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I think I might actually go for one more. I'm on a roll here, aren't I? The dates are fun. I think if I do record, it will be encounter date. So when did that date take place? I see. Alright, I will see you in the next video.